alert, boys! What's going on? It's Preacher. And if my guild's anything to go by, many of you are reactivating your accounts, but asking the ultimate question, what the fuck do I even do, Preacher? Like, do I do this? Do I do that? What is the best way of going about things? Blah, 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 blah. So, this is your survival guide. Toolkit up, bandanas on, dicks out. Let's get ready. This is my recommendations. Some of it is going to be... I'm going to warn you. WoD is known, right? That there's problems with the game, so don't shoot me. This is just how it is right now, and hopefully Legion is going to fix it, which is why many of you have reactivated. But you want to be ready and round to go. So firstly, get yourself to level 100. Pretty fucking easy. Big tip. Get your Garrison sorted. The biggest part I can recommend to you right now, okay, truthfully, is to make gold. Warlords of Draenor is a cash card, and many of us have enjoyed the benefits of that for an entire expansion. We have lots of gold. Some people just haven't bothered, and we always take advantage of the lazy. Yes, we do, and you should become a part of that. WoD is a gold mine. I've no doubt that whatever comes in Legion will not make as much money as you can make in WoD, and still can to this day, even with the many nerfs. So, I recommend, get your Garrison up to level 3, okay? Don't worry about your shipyard for now, we'll get to that later. Buildings I recommend, a trading post. Get a trading post. It's free money. It's just constant streams of free money. Get a trading post. Get a tavern so you can start recruiting your followers. Upgrade things to level 3 so you can get an extra 5 followers. Grab a salvage yard. Grab a profession building or a bank or anything like that. Everything else is reasonably optional. Even the salvage yard is optional, but I still get quite a lot of money out of it, so do what you want. And this will then allow you to do the follower things that you can see in the background. It takes about 20 seconds a day. 20 seconds a day to send all your followers out and get them all back in. You can use your war mill or your dwarven bunker if you're Alliance to get gear, but bear in mind it costs Garrison resources to do that. So an optional building you might want is a lumber mill, which generates more resources. Your trading post generates more resources as well. I would also really recommend that you do your mining and herbing. Most of us who've been playing the expansion throughout its life have really given up on this in favor of just having so much gold that we buy it. So you can join that team if you've not done it a lot. It doesn't take a long time. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes at max to finish the herb garden and then to go on and get all the mining stuff as well. Also bear in mind if you stick a follower in your herb garden, you can choose what herbs to get. Some are way more profitable than others. Things like fireweed, which go into agility potions and all that kind of stuff. They're way more, they're going to get so much more money for those than say frostweed. So you can choose which herbs you want out of your garden, or you can go for a mix. Entirely up to you, but just make gold. How do you make gold? For the trading post, look for the day. These prices change every single day pretty much. You'll get things that are worth, cost like 4 Garrison resources an item, up to 8, okay? And even higher, I think, and go up to 12. Basically, look for when raid food is cheap. I'm honest. Get your cooking done. Don't worry too much about fishing. You can do that in your off time. Get your cooking done and start looking for when the raid food goes really cheap, okay? So then make the 125 stat food. So many raiders don't have cooking. And this obviously varies. When the money-making thing, let's put a caveat here. It depends if you're on at least a medium realm plus. If you're on a low pop realm, your economy gets fucked up regardless, so there's not much you can do. So get to your trading posts, get all those resources. Alts always help because you can double up and then triple down, quadruple down, depending on how many alts you have. And just get all that food, cook it all out, and then just post it on the auction house and you'll make some nice swag cash from that. Other things you're going to be doing is going to Tanaan Jungle. You've probably heard, if you've not been playing, about the Apexes. You're going to be getting a lot of Apexes, guys. I'm honest. If you want some reasonable gear to level with in Legion, and you're not switching straight over to a Demon Hunter, which none of you should be committed to yet, alright? You shouldn't be committed to that just yet. Then you're going to want to get some reasonable gear. Tanaan Jungle has pretty much the easiest, plentiful, and best gear around. 695 item level. That's really good, guys. It's really fucking good. And it just drops all the time. It is better than the LFR gear, so don't bother with LFR. It's a total waste of fucking time. Get yourself down to Tanaan. Get these drops. If you just do the dailies, you're likely to get at least 3 or 4 item drops in there. The way the items work in Tanaan is the stats on them are pretty random. So getting the perfect item, that could be a little bit tricky, and I wouldn't go overboard on that. Just get yourself some decent weapons, decent rings, decent trinkets, decent necks, decent cloaks, blah, 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 blah. Having said that as well, crafted gear, guys. Okay, crafted gear. The crafted gear now goes up to 715 item level. You can have 3 pieces of this. My recommendation is not to make weapons. Okay, don't bother with the weapons. I wouldn't even bother with the trinkets unless you're particularly low on a trinket. Definitely get things like belt and bracers, seem to be mandatory. To put this in context, I'm mythic raiding, okay? And I'm still using my crafted belt and bracers. Why? The stats on them are perfect. absolutely perfect, and you get to choose. If you're concerned about buying your crafted item to level it up, because you buy it at a base and then you upgrade it, and it's not that expensive. It really is not that expensive to do this, to get something that is completely super powerful anyway. I would consider just getting someone to re-roll the item for you. It's far cheaper than buying the ideal base item, okay? So you'll buy a base item about 640 item level, and you'll look at the stats, and there'll be all kind of weird stats, and then the perfect one, people know which is the perfect one, and their price will be ridiculous. What you can do to save a lot of money is just re-roll the item. 40 or even 50 re-rolls of the item is cheaper than usually buying the best base item. So a little tip for you there. That obviously depends on the server, but that's the way it generally works. It is far cheaper to buy the materials to re-roll the item than it is to go ahead and buy the base item outright. So it depends on how much gold you have and how much free time you've got, blah, 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 blah. But I would certainly recommend at least belt and braces and then something else. You can get a neck, shoulders, whatever it might be. Get them upgraded. Those will be ideal, perfect stats for your character. And you'll have fixed 3 slots as best as you probably can very, very quickly. Super quickly, okay? Onwards to Tanaan Jungle then. Farm your Apexis, get the item drops. I would really recommend that you float around the 3 rare mobs that drop the reputation upgrade tokens. These are green tokens. You'll see them flying around. They drop from 3 rares in Tanaan Jungle. You can also get them from your Garrison missions, which is why I still recommend you do those, because they sell for so much money. I wouldn't really recommend that you use them on yourself. Really. Reputation rewards in WoD are pretty shit. One of the best ones is a rune upgrade. It's so expensive to buy that unless you're popping runes all the time, which most of you won't be, then it's actually financially not worth it, okay? That is the trade-off, okay? So if you're raiding constantly, sure, it's worth having the rune up all the time. But if you're not, it's not even worth farming the reputation to Exalted or Revered or whatever it is, and then paying for it. The amount, I think, costs several thousand gold. Because a lot of people already have this reputation, the rune price that you get from doing LFR and such has dropped dramatically. So I really wouldn't recommend you bother with reputation at all. Some of the rep rewards are things like faster speed in Tanaan Jungle. A much simpler solution in my eyes, guys, is once you have your tavern, which I recommended earlier on, you will be able to unlock Aviana's Feather. I would absolutely recommend getting Aviana's Feather. It will pop one day pretty quickly. All you need to do is 1 5-man heroic and you get it. That's it. Compared to farming reputation and spending thousands of gold, it is way easier. And of course, flying, as of recording this, still isn't in the game, and therefore don't even bother with it. Having said that, I wouldn't bother with flying. Put that on the shit list. Don't bother with flying. Okay? It's not worth it. I can't stress this enough. Despite the community outrage, flying is not worth it in Warlords of Draenor. It is absolutely unnecessary, which means you don't have to bother doing the Draenor Pathfinder achievement, which is what unlocks it. That involves getting lots of Tanaan reputation, lots of treasure hunting, lots of questing, doing Loremaster, lots of exploring, all that kind of stuff. Unless you're going to do them anyway in your free time, don't set it as a priority. Flying isn't even in the game, so don't bother with it. Legendary Ring. Don't bother with it. Trust me, unless you are guaranteed to be raiding in a raid guild very shortly, do not bother with your Legendary Ring. I can't really stress this enough, guys. Unless you are guaranteed to be raiding, right? In some sort of progression capacity. The ring does not need to be equipped for progression in any level, okay? The last boss of this game was killed without it. That's to say some guilds will require it. Avoid those guilds. I'm serious, avoid those guilds. The Legendary Ring is absolutely not worth it, especially if you're starting from scratch. If you're nearly there, then sure, go for it. But if you're very, very start, the process is long, grindy, tedious, and frustrating, and it's going to cost you more Apexes. They brought in a catch-up mechanic. It's going to cost you a shit ton of Apexes to catch up again. You're literally going to be farming thousands upon thousands of extra Apexes crystals to catch up with the Legendary Ring. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it. It's a ring that you will get in some weeks or even a couple of months' time. By then, we're probably going to be in the beta, all right? BlizzCon's around the corner. We're likely to be in the alpha. We're likely to see the beta of Legion. And no doubt it will be useless in Legion itself, right? Absolutely useless. So, weigh it up in your own priorities. Are you going to be raiding? Then fine, go for it. But just be aware, if you're going for it because you think you need it, you don't. Okay? Very, very simple idea. So you're going to get yourself this gear. The next thing I would really recommend you do is killing Lord Kazakh every single Wednesday. Every single Wednesday. or Thursday, depending on your reset, obviously, from the guys who are across the pond. Kill Kazakh in a pre-made group. It will take you less than 10 minutes. Do it every week. Do it on every single alt if you can. If you've got 6 alts, it's less than an hour to get all these Kazakhs farmed. There are pre-made groups up on reset day constantly who are just literally summoning you to Kazakh to kill him. It takes a couple of minutes to kill him, and then you're off on your merry way. Why should you do this? Is it for the drops? No, not really. Drop chance on loot is really fucking bad. What you're actually after is the Fell Black Crystals. These are what go into making the very expensive gems and all the big upgrades that we talked about earlier. These are the resources that you need, similar to the Savage Bloods. Get those. You can get anywhere from 17 to 2 in my experience. 2 to 17, you'll get them per kill. Kazakh is guaranteed to drop them. The other way of getting these is by herbing and mining and fishing inside Tanaan jungle. Shoot me. Go fucking kill yourself. I'm not doing that. What we want to do is just kill Kazakh. It takes you way less time. In a good week, if you've got a few alts, you can get 100 of these crystals, and you can bash out literally 35 to 40,000 gold's worth of gems if you've got the resources saved up. So bear in mind, that is how the system works. That's how it goes. And if you don't have dual crafting or anything like that, you can whack them up on the auction house and you'll still get plenty of cash. Just recommend that you don't whack them up on the auction house on reset day when everybody's getting flooded with crystals. Just wait till weekend, okay? Wait till weekend. Wait till Monday when people haven't got their supply of crystals left. They've all been used, and then post them up. You'll make way more money, all right? So that is my recommendations. That is my survival guide. Everything else for me is superfluous. It really is superfluous stuff that you can do next time. If you want to go and raid, fine, do it. Get pugging, get doing stuff like that. But your basics to get a character ready for Legion, make a lot of gold. Make a lot of gold while you can. Just keep on top of it, keep doing it. In terms of the Naval shipyard, if you're not doing the Legendary Ring quest, I wouldn't even fucking bother with it. I really would not. I have stopped using mine completely after I got my Legendary Ring. It's tedious, it's annoying, it's frustrating. To give you an example, even at level 3, you'll have something like 16 quests available on your naval shipyard. 13 to 12 of them will be experience quests, which you probably won't need. Okay, unless you're just sinking and YOLOing your ships into various stuff. The rest of them will be treasure rewards, and at least 2 of them will be for the items that you can get in 10 minutes in Tanaan jungle. It'll be the same baleful drops, the boots, the belt, whatever the fuck it might be. Those will be your treasure quests. Occasionally there's ones for gold, but you can make them in your normal garrison for far less headaches, for far less tedium, miles quicker. Miles quicker. You get constant like level 100 gold missions in there every single day, rather than these ones that take a couple of days, might get you 800, but you're going to have to spend 500 resources each to outfit your ships, or they might sink, or they might have to start again, or some random fucking blockade will have appeared, which means you need to do that first, then come back and check on it. It's a pain in the ass. Don't fucking bother with it. Sort your garrison out. Get to Tanaan, get some nice 695 gear. Don't worry too much about the stats. Get the nice heavy item levels, and craft some gear. Make gold, and you're going to be set for Legion. All right, guys, that's your survival guide. Take it easy, be good, and be relaxed. Bye-bye.